spotted some very nice time frames in relation to when Bitcoin is going to make the next big move. And with FOMC meeting tomorrow, I think right now is a good time to prepare for volatility. I want to show you what that will look like potentially in the next 24 or 48 hours. Cardano. The Cardano daily chart showing multiple signals that I want to discuss. And this is in an environment where there might be some short-term volatility even to the downside. But right now, Cardano on the daily, setting up its next breakout. Hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. Let's jump into the video. I want to start here real quick, and then we'll look at all these charts, the price action of Bitcoin. But it really revolves, especially in the next day or so, around this. Next FOMC meeting is tomorrow. No rate cut expected. The market's only pricing in one rate cut for 2025. I think, and by the way, I think that's a good thing. Let me explain why in just a minute. I think we will see more rate cuts than expected this year. I remain bullish. So here's the thing. Market's expecting one rate cut. I think we're getting a sense that we might see more than one rate cut. Here's Trump the other day. I don't know if you saw this.
The interest rates will come down.
You said that you would demand that the interest rates come down.
Well, I would put in a strong statement.
Do you expect the Fed to listen to you?
Yeah.
I believe him. I believe him. I think the Fed will listen to him. And so when it comes to the market expecting only one, if we get more than one, that will lend itself to this chart. This is the US dollar chart. And again, as we've been comparing a lot lately, the similarities of Trump's term this cycle compared to 2 cycles ago when he was having a very similar sentiment about the dollar, about interest rates. And right now, even the fractal looking very good. So we're going to continue tracking this story. But needless to say, over the next 24 to 48 hours, there could be a lot of volatility. There could be downside. And so I want to talk about the price action of Bitcoin, what to anticipate, and also this will play into altcoins. This will play into the Cardano daily chart that we're about to look at. So I want to start here. This is Bitcoin on the daily chart. We're obviously in this consolidation. If you take a glance at the weekly chart, you can see we've had this leg up, right? Kind of breaking away from all-time highs of last cycle. And we've just been consolidating. And so far, there's even a little bit of a similar kind of consolidation to kind of what we got back here. And I asked the question in a previous video, what if we get this type of consolidation right now? This is a weekly chart. This could go on for months, and we're falling. What if we get that? Well, I want to explore that a little bit more on the daily chart and get a sense of what that looks like, because I just spotted something from a timeline standpoint that I thought was very interesting. Bitcoin on the daily chart right now, if you look at this, this is the last 8-month consolidation, if you remember, that we went through, and Bitcoin kind of sideways and down. You see this kind of first swing high, and then the 20-day falls below the 50, crosses back above the 50, and then it just starts this kind of consolidation of all those moving averages. That swing high to when the 20 was crossing back above the 50 for the first time there was around 71 days. That was 71 days. What I want to point out is this swing high that we've had so far, 20-day falls below the 50, crosses back above the 50. That move was around 35 days. So half of the time. So this is going to play into the potential midterm consolidation, potential more downside. And then we're going to look at the upside of Bitcoin if this doesn't happen. But so far, this consolidation is setting up where it might not be this long. It could be half of the time. So if we go back and we look, well, how long was this consolidation? And if we just really look at it, 230 some days. So we can take this consolidation and say, okay, what if it's 115 days? So we're not breaking out to the upside until April, beginning of April. That might sound terrible to a lot of you, but this is a reality we have to anticipate even in a bull market, especially a bull market that is like no other bull market. This consolidation was almost unprecedented for Bitcoin. So this consolidation, if it happens, and if we look at the chart, actually makes sense from a structure standpoint. So it's not something I'm predicting or saying is going to happen. It's just one scenario that I want to anticipate in this super cycle. So the way that this could play out is all of the consolidation that we have right here, not to mention, if we zoom out on the Bitcoin chart, this massive inverse head and shoulders, right? We talk about the potential for this throwback. That could all set up and be the setup for this 115-day time frame. A little bit more patience might be warranted for markets. And if it happens, we would basically see, in my opinion, Bitcoin fail at this breakout area, meaning even if it makes another move to the upside, it kind of fails, starts trickling down. We have this little triangle within here. All the targets, the inverse head and shoulders, the massive multi-year inverse head and shoulders to the downside, 75 to 80,000. This descending triangle target, if this becomes a busted triangle, meaning we get the fake breakout to the upside, we're falling lower, target to downside, 75 to 80,000. This could be the setup for this move, right? And then we're consolidating, we're bouncing around, and then here's our breakout, 115 days. That could be the setup. I just want to put that out there because I've been really evaluating if Bitcoin is going to just kind of fall into this annoying consolidation. Everybody's so bullish as we were back here, but it just, what is going on, right? It can't break out. If that happens, that's a scenario I want to anticipate. And the technical setups are there. The pattern, the structure setups, it's there. The targets are there. So with that put aside, if we put that aside for just a moment, if Bitcoin continues to the upside now, it's in that environment where it could do it very quickly. And we could break everything I just talked about, and that could not happen. We have the descending triangle. We have the throwback, which has happened. We have this wick on the daily chart, the daily candle yesterday to the triangle itself. We have the 20 did cross above the 50. We have the support at these moving averages. So right now we'd be looking for continuation and a breakout out of this upper trend line. So continuation of the descending triangle target to the upside, as well as really just a target to the upside of this channel that we have here, right? So I would say 120 to 130 range could be the bullish target for Bitcoin if we don't get this similar annoying consolidation, even if it's just a smaller version of it. That's my next target for Bitcoin to the upside. And so many things could play into that. Big narratives, big news coming from Trump administration, who knows? So I just think it's really good on the Bitcoin charts that we have a nice roadmap either way. And either way, for me, I'm incredibly bullish on the Bitcoin chart. I'm incredibly bullish on the altcoin charts, obviously. And this US dollar currency index chart, I think, is something we have to continue watching. I'm very curious to see how this chart plays out and really how the administration, FOMC, the Fed, what they're doing with interest rates, all of that good stuff. And this could play very heavily into the bull market as we kind of just took a look at. Let's look at ADA on the charts. Real quick, I want to make a mention of some big ADA news. Tuttle Capital, which managed billions in ETFs, has filed for Cardano ETF, amongst 9 others like XRP, Chainlink, and Polkadot. Slowly, the institutions, this is what we've been talking about, they're going to start grasping and catching on to Cardano as we start getting Cardano integrating with Bitcoin and allowing Bitcoin to become kind of this DeFi chain in a secure way. I think institutions are going to notice this. And one thing that might be a big wake-up call, and already has been a big wake-up call for institutions, is ADA woke up, right? This is ADA waking up, 300% move to the upside, and just a little hint of, I think, what is to come in this bull market. So let's dissect this daily chart because it plays into what we just discussed for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to consolidate, start falling, I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video for ADA. 2 areas I just want to be mindful of, the bull market door areas, and we've been talking about it. This 77-cent area to the downside is the lower range of the bull market doors, and anywhere to the 200-day moving average around 60 cents. So if Bitcoin starts falling, ADA starts falling, crypto start falling, somewhere in that range, a consolidation of that range, right? But what I want to make mention of is what's happening on this daily chart right now. The case for continuation for ADA, I have a lot of arrows going on. But what I want to just point out to you is the oscillators. Look at where the oscillator is right now. It's cooled down tremendously since the 300% gains that you see here. Cooled down, sitting at around 43. Right before ADA broke out, it was around 40. Close to 41 on the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator. And this was a 300% setup move. That's how much upside was on this chart. for ADA. Look what ADA did. That's where ADA is from a momentum oscillator perspective. So it has full reset, and the upside potential is for massive gains, and the massive gains can come very fast. The other thing is, if you look at even the stock RSI right now oversold, which is always kind of a first potential leading indicator of the bottom could be close for ADA. The next move up could be getting very close, right? But it's such an unreliable indicator to use just as one indicator. So be very careful with doing that. A good example actually is if we look at when we fell into the stock RSI oversold right here in November, look where the RSI was, still overbought. So this was oversold, but not an indicator to say, hey, it's time for ADA to move back to the upside. Now that we have the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, has been consolidating, is at these levels similar to the levels of back here, and we're getting stock RSI falling, that's when we're pairing those two together, that's very helpful. And then we take it a step further and we look at the MACD. The MACD line also has consolidated. Even we're kind of starting to look like ADA wants to trickle back up. You can see this histogram starting to trend back up. Not a guarantee that it's going to, but this is a very good first sign in the reversal that we're looking for. So we have the MACD crossing below the signal line. Now we have the MACD line below zero on the histogram, and the histogram trying to trend back up. We might have this reversal in play for ADA, this next power move for ADA lining up very nicely for February if markets are going to continue to the upside. So what we have here is consolidation on this chart. We have the symmetrical triangle that really is in play, and we have a target to the upside around $1.80 out of the symmetrical triangle if ADA is going to make a breakout to the upside. And the reason why that is so huge is this inverse head and shoulders with the upward sloping neckline that we've been tracking, target to the upside, $7 to $8. So that all can start right here, right now. One thing I want to be mindful of is everything we just talked about for the potential for volatility, even in the next day, 24 or 48 hours. FOMC, the way the markets react to these news events, they're volatile. Maybe ADA breaks to the downside. I'd be watching for a fake breakout, potentially. Maybe we touch the bottom of the bull market doors. If cryptos start capitulating, we're at 70 some cents for ADA. People are freaking out. Maybe it's a fake breakout. We get a busted pattern in play. Markets finally do turn around. So on the short term, that's what I'd be watching for. But I do want to continue watching the Cardano daily charts, because if crypto is getting ready to make its next leg up, Cardano is a blue chip altcoin positioned so very well right now. So that's my analysis on Bitcoin and Cardano today, as we kind of just waiting for tomorrow FOMC. Markets just, and it's such short term, right? Like everybody's going to forget about this in 2 days. A week from now, this will be completely forgotten, the FOMC news and what's going on. And who knows what next week's narrative will be. So be prepared for everything at the end of the day, everybody. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to zoom out on these charts, pace myself. It is still only January. I think we have such a good year ahead, a very nice bull market ahead. So these are my thoughts. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I appreciate you cruising through. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.